Riverside has tremendous support from the community, and that community support manifests itself in a lot of ways, one of being the Riverside Healthcare Foundation. Those folks who give to the foundation, it's always nice to recognize somebody who goes above and beyond. And that's what we try to do with Samaritan of the Year.
Our motto, as you know, is generosity heals. And so we look for that individual in our network who best exemplifies that in the community.
As we take a look, there are so many people that are just phenomenal volunteers and candidates for Samaritan of the Year. So it's a very difficult process to pick just one person, but we truly do want to make it special. And so we look for those people who really have gone above and beyond. And it's amazing as we sit with, as a committee, somebody always floats to the top that, you know, this is their time and they deserve this award. As President and CEO of Riverside Health System, I am just extremely, extremely honored to name Jim Bridgewater as our 2013 Samaritan of the Year.
When you put generosity and Jim Bridgewater in the same sentence, magic happens. Jim is a generous man.
Jim was not native to this area. He came here, he developed a business, was very, very successful, and Jim has retired out of the area. Jim hasn't forgot this community, and Jim continues to give back to this community in many, many ways, and Riverside is one of those ways.
I guess I've been involved indirectly with the hospital since 1977, 76. I moved here in 74, and my relationship with Riverside has always been upbeat, happy family of people.
If you look at Jim's life here in Kankakee, he wasn't always successful. He's had ups and downs, but as his success grew, he was always very generous with different organizations and very committed to Kankakee County.
Certainly I think about Jim and I think about legacy. I think about the way that I hear his sons talk about watching a dad as they were growing up, leaving a legacy with them of generosity and giving back in some profound ways.
I'm very happy, very pleased with Jim Sr. and all that he's done in the community over the years. It's very, very exciting to see what he's done, and I've learned a lot from it myself.
The big things, you know, that make the papers, everybody knows about, but when you really get down to it, there were so many small that were big to these people, but that no one had, you know, no one really knew about.
He would notice employees needing something, a car. Somebody would have, you know, dental issues and not be able to afford, and Jim would come in and say, you know, I'm going to buy him a set of dentures. And he would just take care of people that way.
The thing I love about Jim, maybe the most, is that he has that true sense of community.
This community has been so generous with me, and I've been blessed and lucky.
That's the kind of guy Jim is. We've just heard story after story after story about his legendary generosity.
Publicly, Jim has been very instrumental in helping a number of organizations around Kankakee, from the starting of the Center of Hope to Youth for Christ, and hospice is the other large, you know, charitable organization.
In the early 2000s, Jim Bridgewater came to Riverside, and he wanted to make a difference in cancer care. And he asked what we could do to make it easier for people who were receiving cancer therapy to have care locally and not to have to travel to Chicago. And he then stepped up and he changed cancer care here with us forever.
Jim had always given, you know, and participated with Riverside, but when Betty was sick, he saw the care she received here in town, and he noticed the little touches, the nurses, and the way people would greet Betty and take care of her and go beyond.
First diagnosis was she was exercising at the Riverside Fitness Center and had a mini stroke and didn't know it. And they took her to the hospital, and she said, oh, it's just a little mild something, you know, I feel great. No. They said, you have something on your brain. We were married 2 days short of 30 years when she passed away. Dennis Millirons came to me shortly after that and said, Jim, he said, do you have any feelings towards doing something for Betty? And so we discussed what might be in mind, and they had the concept, or they had made the decision that they need a radiation center.
That began a larger level of giving towards Riverside, and it resulted in the Betty Birch Bridgewater Center.
That center has treated thousands of patients, provided thousands of cancer treatments.
Her mother was present, was turning 100 years old. I was so happy to look over at Mrs. Birch and say, 100 years from now, this building will still say Betty Birch Bridgewater, and that's the best we can do for her. So let her rest in peace.
Jim knew in his heart that he could give back to the community, he could keep Betty's memory alive, and he could change cancer care. He could change families' experiences if someone had cancer.
It's great to have this center where people can just stay local, and if family needs to be with them, they can come right there as well. They don't need to go up in the city and the suburbs and battle the traffic and everything else that's going on out there.
For Jim, I think what this has done is he has said, I want people to have this level of care in Kankakee County, and I want Betty to be remembered as they get that care.
When I moved to Arizona, I felt very committed to put it back into the soil that I got it, and so I will continue the rest of my life to be supportive of this community. This is where it came out of the fields, and I'm going to plow it back in.
Now, in 2013, we step forward one more time with an even greater advance in cancer care with the help of Jim Bridgewater again.
We have just rechristened our cancer center. We did a major expansion, and Jim was the driver behind the first cancer center, and now a driver behind this major expansion.
Jim's significant gift to Riverside has allowed us to bring incredible technology. This community, our cancer specialists, our cancer patients and their families, will always be grateful for this.
And I look at how he's been generous just across years and across different ministries, different nonprofits, but we're very intentional about that. We look around and we want to have that same impact. So it's very challenging to me personally. I hope it's challenging to others because this is a great community, has a lot of things going for it, but it still needs that. It takes that investment and that giving back from people in this community to help it grow.
Jim is one of those individuals who can quickly identify a gap or a missing piece. And when he sees it, the first thing that goes through his head is, how do I resolve that? I believe he saw that in this community with the lack of some advanced linear accelerator radiation equipment, and he said, how do I resolve that? And he has.
Whatever the need is there, I want to be there to help.
And over the years, I have watched the joy that Jim has experienced by giving from his heart, by sharing the wealth that he has had in his life and the experiences in his life. He's sharing those right now, every day.
To receive the honor it makes me feel so good that it's been appreciated and recognized, but I didn't want the accolades. I wasn't looking for that because I feel right here is all I need, and if people could try that medicine, they're going to find out it makes a world of difference in their lifestyle. It has for me. My dream in life is when the day is done, I just like to have a pat on the shoulder from the big guy upstairs that we just say, you know, I was there and you did my wishes. Let the day be done.